Hey everybody! So we have been measuring weight using kilograms. Remember, kilograms or kg, kilograms, weigh about the same as a big book. Same as a couple loaves of bread or about 7 apples. Weighs the same as a big bottle of water, right? Today we're going to get a lot smaller. So think about how we started big when we were measuring. We started kind of medium-ish big when we were measuring weight. But now we're going to get really small. We're going to talk about grams. Now, the thing you should know about a gram is that you use the same tool to measure it. You could use balance scales to measure in grams. You could also use platform scales to measure in grams. The difference is the weights that you would use on the balance scale, or the internal settings inside of the balance scale, or I should say the platform scale, are going to be different for grams. And you'll see that it takes a lot of grams to equal even small things. So let's just kind of put it in real world terms for you. If I was to ask you what a gram is, this is a weight that weighs about 1 gram. It is tinier than your fingernail. A gram is what a piece of gum weighs, or a paper clip, or a dollar bill. They weigh about 1 gram. So a small piece of paper, right? Maybe some sugar on a teaspoon would weigh 1 gram. These are very small weights. So you're not going to measure people using grams because it would take thousands of grams to weigh the same as a person. But sometimes you want to weigh something that's very light, and grams are the perfect way to do it. So if I took your pencil case out of your desk and I put it on a scale, your pencil case would probably weigh 300 grams, right? 300 grams is not very heavy, even though it looks like a big number because grams are so small. This package is going to weigh even more than 300. If you notice where the needle is pointing here, what you're going to be asked to do today is you're going to be asked to use the scale to measure, here are the hundreds, right? 400 grams would be the mass of this mystery package. If there was a trick to this, I would say that sometimes the needle is going to be right on the number, and other times the needle is going to be between the numbers. So one of the activities we do today is going to be kind of focusing on what do those lines on the scale mean? Because unfortunately, there's not enough space to put all the numbers on there. So you kind of have to use the other numbers as reference numbers when you're trying to figure out what's between two of the numbers. Okay, so this is that other kind of scale I was telling you about, the balance scale. This one is not going to have any sort of dial on it. Instead, what you do is you pile up on the side weights, and you put the same number of weights as the object and I shouldn't say that. You put the same number of weights that all together weigh the same as the object. And I know that's the case because the scale is straight across. If it was tipped up or if it was tipped down, I would know that I haven't got the weights quite right. And I'd put more on, or I'd take one off, and I'd try to make it balance. That's why this is called a balance scale. So if you were to measure your mom and dad's pen that they use to do like paperwork, that pen would weigh 2 and a 2 and a 2 and a 1. So it would weigh 2, 4, 6, and one more. It would weigh about the same as 7 grams. The mass of the pen, the weight of the pen, is 7 grams. So you're going to have to be able to use both those scales today. Here's another one. Oh, and do you see what I mean? Here are the numbers: 100 grams, 200 grams, 300 grams, 400 grams, but the needle is not pointing at one of those numbers. It's pointing in between 300 and 400, right? So this one was 400 we talked about. This one is 300. What number is right in between 3 and 400? Well, that's tricky. That is tricky. When I think of what number is between 0 and 100, right in the middle, there's 50. So I think in between 3 and 400 is going to be 350. See? To be honest, measuring on the scales today is not the hard part. The hard part is figuring out what these lines actually are. Because some of them don't have numbers. Take a look. This whole page here, piece of cake. We're using balance scales. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking at the pencil or the pencil sharpener or the eraser, and you have to add up how many grams made this scale balance. This first page, you got it, okay? The second page, though, I put a scale on here, and I think I only did one of these, but I put a scale on here that it's missing some of its numbers. And what you have to do is there's nothing on this scale. You just need to fill in the missing numbers around the dial. So 10's here, and then there's a 30, but there's no number here. What number comes between 10 and 30? Well, what number comes between 1 and 3? Yeah, 2. So between 10 and 30, we're going to have that same pattern. 1, 2, 3. So every box should be a next 10. So it should go 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, 80. And then after 90 here, we jump all the way up to the 0 again because that's as much as the scale can do, right? It could probably do 99, 100, but then you would have to get a different scale, like one of these other models down here that is set to do more grams. Like this one can go up into the 200s, whereas this one could barely just make it to 100. I don't think I assigned you number 6 or number 7, but I did have you do a couple other problems on the next slide. I'm sorry I don't have it set up here, but it's just reading a scale when the numbers are there. So I think you'll find today's assignment a little challenging, but good practice. Okay? Thanks, guys.